Just take a look at the poll numbers. Prop 1, the effort to raise your taxes to pay for better roads, is way behind. Just 5 weeks to go now before Election Day. 66% say that they would vote against the proposal. Only 24% support it.
So what do the numbers mean for both campaigns? New at 6 o'clock, 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey went to Lansing to find out.
We took the numbers and a question to the people running the pro-road tax campaign. What now? Your numbers are down. The election's right around the corner. Their answer? Don't believe the polls.
If you look at Michigan history, political history, it is littered with ballot proposals that the polls predicted a particular outcome and just the opposite happened on election night.
The pro side says the polls don't consider the people they're targeting, the people most likely to vote for Prop 1, the people they need to get out to the polls. The opposition says they're leery of polls too, but for a different reason.
Certainly, I don't think voters should take it for granted that this is going to fail on May 5th. The other side has millions of dollars. They have the bully pulpit of the governor's office, and a lot depends on who turns out to vote.
Despite support from the governor, the Lansing wheeling and dealing that has led to Prop 1 has been knocked as convoluted. It raises the state sales tax from 6 to 7% and drops the current gas tax and sales tax on fuel in favor of one higher levy. But it also provides more funding for education, mass transit, and local government. A closer look at the poll numbers showed 32% say they won't vote for it because taxes are already too high. No big surprise there, but the poll also found 18% of the 600 likely voters surveyed say there's just too much in the proposal. Another 5% don't believe roads will get fixed with those dollars. And what about the Yes campaign's ads focusing on safety as an issue? Just 2% of the people who say they will vote for Prop 1 believe roads are a safety issue. Say Yes campaign officials say look for a change in messaging soon, but not in reaction to the poll numbers. It's just the next phase.
What's phase 2 going to look like?
Wait and see.
The opposition expects voters to send a message of their own on Election Day.
So then on May 6th, the elected officials in Lansing get to work and actually go about the business of fixing our roads.
And if you are still among the undecided, we have all kinds of information to make an informed decision at woodtv.com. In Lansing, Joe LaFurgey, 24-hour News 8.
Let's bring in political reporter Rick Albin now. Rick, 5 weeks out, how much trouble is this thing in?
Well, it's not dead, but it's in big trouble, and these numbers show this pretty clearly. When people are undecided or confused about a ballot proposal, they traditionally vote no. Raising one's own taxes is a hard sell, and as Joe pointed out, there is concern about the other spending contained in the deal that was sold for the better part of 3 years as just a roads bill, and those are just the beginning problems.
So what do you think supporters do about this now then?
Yeah. Well, I think you heard them talk about it. They're going to change their message a little bit, and the question is to what? They have to shift their message. When the governor was here last week, he made it clear that there really is no viable plan B. In fact, a Democratic senator that will be on one of our shows in the very near future makes the same case, and many in Lansing are starting to say that this is as good as it's going to get. So is that going to be the new strategy? Already those pushing the plan have a radio campaign that says essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, I don't like this bill, but this is the best we can do. It's pretty low praise. Now, if that's the strategy, will it work? The concern on the part of opponents that voters will become complacent is also valid. Motivating people to go to the polls in a non-traditional election is tricky, to be sure. But tonight, after 2 consecutive polls that show this proposal far behind and well below 50%, it is the supporters who have to reassess how they're going to try to close the deal that isn't being embraced by voters. But there's one other thing, and you heard one of the opponents say this, that, well, once this is defeated, from their perspective, then the legislature will have to go back to do its job. Look, that's going to be a tough sell in the legislature, going back and getting some kind of a fix if this thing fails, which is not to suggest it should go one way or the other, but this legislature will have at least as much trouble, if not more, than the last legislature in trying to come up with a fix.
That's a good point. Right. Rick Albin, thank you. We are here to keep you updated as we get closer to the May election. Right now at woodtv.com, you can read through the entire Epic MRA poll. We also have our claim checks on the ads that you've been seeing on television and our interview with the governor about the proposal.